Hello everyone, welcome back to the WAR Diary. Please subscribe and like my videos because today we are diving into one of the most shocking developments in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. A massive Ukrainian drone strike has managed to hit Moscow's crown jewel, the $1.2 billion Moscow City Towers. This attack has not only rattled the Russian leadership, but also sent shockwaves across the world, because the building isn't just a symbol of Moscow's modern skyline. It represents Russia's pride, wealth, and global ambitions. Imagine one of the most expensive and futuristic towers in Moscow, designed to project strength, suddenly being pierced by small but effective Ukrainian drones. That is a story of contrast, and it raises questions about modern warfare, vulnerabilities, and how technology is rewriting the rules of conflict. When we look at the exterior of the Moscow City Towers, the first thing that stands out is the glittering glass facade, rising tall above the city. It was built to impress investors, foreign delegations, and wealthy businessmen. This complex was never intended to be part of a war story. It was built as a statement of economic power. The exterior represents luxury with skyscrapers reflecting light, creating an iconic skyline image comparable to London's Canary Wharf or New York's Manhattan. But the Ukrainian drones changed that picture overnight. What was once sleek and impenetrable now looked vulnerable and scarred. The contrast of delicate glass walls against the destructive force of explosives highlights how modern symbols of wealth are not designed for war, and how easily drones can penetrate such monumental structures. The exterior damage might look minor compared to traditional military destruction, but symbolically it's devastating. Russia spent billions on these towers, yet Ukraine exposed their fragility with low-cost technology. Now let's go deep inside the interior of these towers. This is important because the Moscow City Towers were not just business centers, they were luxury spaces filled with state-of-the-art offices, shopping malls, and high-end apartments. Walking inside, you would find lavish marble floors, glass elevators, polished steel, futuristic lighting, and designer stores. The towers had restaurants serving fine dining, tech hubs buzzing with corporate meetings, and business suites with panoramic views of Moscow. The interior was meant to be secure, comfortable, and a symbol of stability for Russia's elite. But once drones managed to hit this space, the whole atmosphere changed. Imagine workers running down staircases, alarms blaring, smoke creeping into corridors designed for wealth, not survival. The huge contrast is visible. Where once Moscow's businessmen sat negotiating million-dollar deals in glass-walled conference rooms, they suddenly became vulnerable targets, hiding from flying machines that cost only a fraction of the tower's daily earnings. It's no longer just an office interior, it has become a reminder of war's reach. The psychological damage of seeing a luxury interior space threatened is far greater than the physical scars. It sends a chilling message: nowhere, not even Moscow's most advanced towers, is safe from Ukraine's drones. This is why the interior story here is as important as the exterior damage, because it touches the daily lives of Russia's elite who believed they were untouchable. When it comes to performance, Ukrainian drones proved remarkable. They flew hundreds of kilometers, bypassed Russian air defenses, and struck right in the capital. Russia has one of the most advanced air defense networks in the world, including systems like S-400 Pantsir and radar systems around Moscow. Yet these drones, small, nimble, and inexpensive, slip through and hit their target. That's performance beyond expectations. The ability to hit such a high-profile target shows not only precision but also persistence, because Ukraine has repeatedly tested Moscow's defenses and learned from each attempt. The performance also demonstrates how asymmetrical warfare works. Ukraine doesn't need to match Russia in fighter jets or missiles. It only needs to use smart, small, and fast technology that can deliver big psychological blows. Russia's expensive defense looked useless against this performance, making many wonder about the efficiency of billions spent on military hardware compared to Ukraine's much cheaper approach. Safety features in this case take on two sides: the building's own features and Russia's defense systems. Inside the towers, safety measures like fire alarms, emergency exits, evacuation procedures, and reinforced areas came into play. For years, safety in the Moscow City Towers was thought to mean protecting people from accidents, fires, or natural disasters, not military strikes. The drone attacks forced everyone to test these systems in real time. Workers had to evacuate quickly, alarms were activated, and firefighting systems were deployed. On the other hand, Russia's much vaunted defense features like radar, anti-aircraft systems, and electronic jammers were supposed to protect the capital. Yet the drones exposed the flaws in those systems. If Ukraine can strike the symbolic heart of Moscow, then what about other strategic sites? This failure of safety features raises huge questions about the security of Russian civilians, businesses, and military assets. The incident proved that Russia's safety net has massive holes, which Ukraine can exploit again. Now let's talk about unique selling points. For Ukraine, the unique selling point of this attack is the psychological and symbolic victory. Hitting Moscow is not about the physical destruction of one tower, it's about sending a message that Ukraine can reach Russia's heart. It breaks the illusion of safety that Moscow has projected for years. Another unique selling point is the cost-effectiveness. Ukraine used low-budget drones to damage $1 billion symbol. This imbalance highlights how new warfare favors creativity and agility over brute force and expense. For Russia, the tower's unique selling point used to be their grandeur, modern architecture, and economic symbolism. But after the attack, their unique selling point has ironically turned into a weakness. They are shiny, tall, and highly visible, making them easy symbolic targets. The towers no longer just represent wealth, they represent vulnerability in the modern age. When it comes to price, the comparison is stunning. The Moscow City towers cost $1.2 billion to build. Billions more have been spent on maintaining them, filling them with luxury businesses, and projecting them as a symbol of prosperity. On the other hand, the drones Ukraine used reportedly cost just a few $1,000s each, maybe tens of thousands at most. This price gap is the very essence of asymmetric warfare. Imagine spending billions to show off power, only to have that power humbled by a tool worth less than a single Moscow apartment. That's not just about economics, it's about prestige, and Ukraine has shown how cost-effective strikes can rewrite the balance of war. In conclusion, the Ukrainian drone strike on Moscow's $1.2 billion city towers is more than just an attack on a building. It's a story of symbolism, technology, and vulnerability. The exterior damage shows the fragility of Russia's shining towers. The interior shock reminds the elite that war has entered their daily lives. The performance of drones proves that even the strongest defenses can be penetrated by small, smart machines. Safety features on both sides were tested and found lacking. The unique selling points of wealth and luxury turned into vulnerabilities. The price comparison underlines how expensive symbols can be humbled by cheap but effective tools. This is not just about one strike, it is about the future of warfare where low-cost drones can challenge billion-dollar assets and where no city, no matter how powerful, is immune to new threats. This event will be remembered as a turning point. It shows how Ukraine is rewriting the rules, how Russia is facing psychological blows, and how the world is witnessing a new chapter in modern conflict. The Moscow City towers may still stand, but their image as untouchable icons has been shattered. And as the war continues, such strikes will keep reshaping not only military strategies, but also the global perception of power.